Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a great day. Sorry I have not made updates in the previous few days. I've been having a crazy busy week, but I had some time to get on here, recap PLTR, what's been happening. We're continuing to see kind of this post-earnings sell-off, and specifically right now, closing at a very critical level of support. We're going to be talking about why, and if Palantir, if it does continue to pull back, where we could possibly be seeing PLTR enter, or a reversal, of course, could trigger at any time. But right now, we are seeing a little bit of this bearish, I want to say, type of atmosphere and articles that are being released, and this kind of comes in a domino effect typically as media articles tend to basically replicate and say the same thing. So this can have a big effect on price action. So if you're a new or a returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. I hope you guys are having a great start to the week. And here we go. PLTR, pop it up on the screen here, closes here at $20.60. And this is a very critical level of support that PLTR could be testing into next week. The reason I say that is because number one, last year, $20 was actually a critical resistance point for Palantir, and now, after we've seen Palantir break out above those 20s, not from the last quarter earnings, but the previous quarter earnings before that, Palantir has kind of been hanging out in the mid-20s. This head and shoulders pattern was formulated here. Typically, we know bearish in nature, and we had this pop up here with the earnings hype up to this 25, but after we saw this post-earnings sell-off, we see this gap being created right here and testing right at this neckline at this head and shoulders level. Now, if Palantir were to come beneath the 20s, the only type of, I want to say, volatility that could be increased, the uncertainty, is right here on the left-hand side of the screen. This is the gap that was created in the previous earnings when Palantir jumped from 16 all the way up past the 20s. We haven't been below the 20s since before that quarter earnings report. Now, talking about that, Palantir was able to actually establish and trigger a critical reversal at this neckline before. So that is great that we do have that trading history to hopefully kind of rely on and use as a foundational basis to hopefully trigger a reversal, but things can happen at any time. And the reason why we're kind of seeing this in the media, what we're seeing for Palantir, talking about earnings sell-off, you're seeing it across the market. Should you be buying on the post-earnings dip? You have right here, Wall Street analyst thinks that Palantir is going to $9. You have here Peter Thiel said selling more shares, selling here another 1.6 million shares after the yesterday's $6.2 million dump. There's 6.2 million dump. So what you're seeing across the board is this kind of bearish sentiment that's starting to take place. And what this can cause is a lot of uncertainty, and this can cause sell-offs and further corrections. Now, it's important to understand what is, your own particular position on Palantir. Are you here for the short term? Are you here for the long term? Are you bearish? Are you bullish? La da da da. But for those that are looking more into the long-term perspective, looking more into the future, and Palantir, nothing has really changed with the company because earnings was great. Remember, we saw earnings that had more record levels in terms of commercial side of things. We're seeing a continue in the acceleration of the commercial and the governmental growth in terms of revenue metrics. With that, we just had a small change in guidance, and we're starting to see this sell-off that's happening right now. Of course, one of the main criticisms for Palantir that we talk about all the time is the valuation. But if we look at the nitty and gritty, like I said, this could possibly be a big clearance type of sale discount for those that are looking to get into Palantir for the long-term type of perspective. Now, looking specifically on the screen here, what's happening in terms of the global market, number one? We have the Dow Jones, we see the major indexes, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, that are still continuing to do well. And we see this posting here, the 8th winning day in the best week for 2024. So overall, the market is looking good. However, we're seeing Palantir that's coming down right here, which this leads me into tail. And I'll look at NVIDIA here specifically. How is NVIDIA doing? Because this is a big driver on how the other AI stocks are kind of trading. Just with an unconscionable bias and kind of a correlation between these AI stocks. But long story short, Palantir right here, market's doing well. We see this post-earnings sell-off right here. Even though Palantir had a great earnings report, this is just a short-term pullback here, in my opinion, and just an overreaction to what we're seeing in the market in terms of what the actual orders are coming in and what the overall sentiment is on Palantir. And if we look into some of these articles here, we'll quickly reference these. Should you buy the post-earnings dip? Talking about PLTR, talking about, hey, we still have accelerating growth drivers by government and commercial clients. Some of the big ones, Titan, Oracle, big things that can help bring exposure to and bring Palantir really to that next level. And specifically here, you see here, governmental revenue growth up 16%, US here, 12% year over year, doing very well. And looking at the commercial side of things, we know that this is a big catalyst for PLTR, specifically, of course, AIP. We all know what AIP is, and specifically how well it's been for a jump starter to really bring PLTR into that next incremental level and starting to become more of a trendy headliner stock. And specifically, one of the best metrics that really keeps me personally bullish on PLTR is the US commercial count here, up 69% year over year. And talking about this, valuation concerns still remain. You do see this right here because you have some analysts that think, hey, they think the fair value is $9. But we have to remember that this is RBC Capital that recently had a $5 fair value valuation, a $5 price target. I say if Palantir comes to $5 or even $10, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be purchasing PLTR. I say that with probably a 95% confidence behind my back. Now, in terms of decent is not good enough. It's kind of the headliner right here. Talking about the revenue, talking about overblown concerns. You're going to see this bearish sentiment, and we're going to see the swings in what opinion is that really can affect trading price. Palantir being beat down right here by these bearish articles, like I said, this are just clearance discounts for people that are looking into the long term. And hey, if anybody's taking, I guess, shorts on the position, they're doing well right now as we speak. But in terms of the overall sentiment right here, what we're seeing, I wanted to come on here and just say that I think this is completely normal. We're seeing a little bit of an overreaction, in my opinion. And specifically talking about this, Peter Thiel selling shares here, right here. Insiders, company executives, they sell shares all the time for a variety of different reasons. There's not always specific reasons. We just start to pinpoint small little things, and we can kind of align that and correlate that with what the sentiment is right now, that we're seeing a little bit of a correction. But it's really important that correlation does not imply causation. There can be many reasons behind why we're seeing selling from executives. There can be many reasons why we're seeing kind of this slew of bearish articles coming in here. It's because that's what's getting the most clicks right now. And it's important, I think, to understand that's what the media is running off of clicks. So PLTR sitting here at $20. We'll see what happens at this critical support level. However, even at this level, I think this is great still for PLTR. Still up year over year, like 23%. Not year over year, sorry, year to date, like 23%, which is still outpacing the market by a pretty good margin. So that's my 2 cents. I want to know, what do you guys think down in the comments? Thank you guys for tuning in. We're coming back for the daily video. Sorry for the delay that we had. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out and take care.